Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Young Sheldon 24, I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Big Bang Theory's Sheldon Cooper is a difficult, complex guy. He'd be hard to have as a friend, but sometimes he'd be exactly the friend you need. Sheldon Cooper is the definition of a polarizing character on The Big Bang Theory. That'll continue to be the case for as long as fans keep going back and watching the episodes over and over again. The Big Bang Theory. Sheldon's 10 biggest mistakes that we can learn from. He's a complex chap with many different sides to him. Even with that being the case, we still believe there are a few reasons why he could be quite a good friend to have, and a few reasons why he wouldn't be. So buckle up as we try and take a deep dive into the crazy world of this brilliant sitcom scientist. For two people who claim to be friends with one another, Howard and Sheldon sure don't treat each other with much respect. Sheldon just seems to put Howard down at every available opportunity, and that trend begins from the very first episode of the series. Whether or not Howard deserves it is a different matter altogether. If you were in Howard's position, you'd have to ask yourself whether or not you would accept the same level of scrutiny. For most of us, the answer would be a resounding no. From comic books to board games to video games and beyond, there's a whole lot to love about Sheldon's persona if you enjoy getting a bit nerdy from time to time. He's the sort of figure that is always on hand to test out the latest feature in the world of gaming, or head to a convention in full cosplay. The geek revolution seems to still be ongoing throughout the world right now, with a plethora of individuals on every corner of the planet embracing nerd culture and the reputation that comes with it. From standing a certain distance away from the mirror when brushing your teeth to having the room at the perfect temperature to pre-organizing guests at least 24 hours in advance, there are plenty of rules and regulations that many people just wouldn't accept when living with Sheldon. Beyond that, it seems as if there are rules for those living outside of his space too, which includes rules about which food can be eaten on specific days. It's the kind of regime that would be fun for a minute before quickly wearing off. Leonard is someone many of us can relate to throughout the course of the series, which makes sense considering that he is positioned as one of the main characters of the show. The man himself questions why or how he is able to remain friends with Sheldon despite everything that has happened between them. The fact that he is able to come through that with a steady love and admiration of Cooper shows us that it is possible to look past his flaws and see the kind-hearted soul that lies beneath. We all get our grammar wrong from time to time, and more often than not, we're able to recognize it and make corrections, or we just ignore it altogether. When Sheldon Cooper is around, that isn't possible. You're made to inferior for every tiny error, when in reality, that shouldn't be the case at all. Friends are there to build each other up instead of tear each other down, and while Sheldon is just trying to help expand your mind, that probably isn't a trait of his that comes across particularly well. As much as people don't want to admit it, having someone as intelligent as Sheldon Cooper as your friend is going to be a big benefit to your daily life. From asking questions that he'll almost certainly know the answer to all the way through to him getting you out of sticky situations. It's all about building up that trust and realizing, inevitably, just how much you can learn from having him by your side. The Big Bang Theory. 10 reasons why Sheldon and Raj aren't real friends. It's not like you'd be using him, but it is nice to know he has the solution to 90% of your issues. Sheldon seems to be the kind of guy who would heap stress onto your shoulders at the drop of a dime. At its core, that is not what friendship is all about. If you're in a position where it feels more like a business arrangement than a friendship, then you know that you're in trouble. Feeling constant stress over doing something that he wouldn't be pleased with has the potential to really damage your own well-being as well as Sheldon's. In the long run, it's 50-50 as to whether it would work out. As we saw during the episode with Sheldon lending Penny some money, he isn't shy when it comes to helping out his friends from time to time. Financially speaking, of course. The weirdest part of it all is that he really doesn't care all too much about when he gets his money back, so long as he actually does get it back. Leonard himself says it's one of the best traits that Sheldon has. While you wouldn't want to abuse it all the time, it's great to know he'd be there for you, and that he wouldn't question the motive. Even though he eventually does learn to drive later on in the series, we all know that Sheldon wouldn't go out of his way to actually drive you anywhere. He enjoys the art of being driven by someone else, and if you were to place yourself into Leonard's shoes for the last 10 years, it'd get pretty tedious having to take him around everywhere like a chauffeur. The Big Bang Theory. 10 reasons why Sheldon and Penny aren't real friends. If you were in that position, trying to convince him to get the train and bus around would be the best way forward. Sheldon is happily married to Amy, but even if that wasn't the case, nobody would have to worry about him swooping in and stealing their girl. While a few women have made advances in his direction throughout the course of TBBT's run, Sheldon just doesn't understand what's happening in these situations. If anything, he'd probably infuriate your better half to the point where she actively dislikes him. That's not ideal, but it's better than being stuck in a bizarre love triangle. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Young Sheldon 24, and stay with us.